Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Joy Show here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Barbara Jean. I am the host of this show, and this show is all about you. I believe there is just one you. And so this show celebrates my guests come on, we share their stories and celebrate their accomplishments, their trials and tribulations, whatever's going on. We love to bring you this great information. So I want to begin with the land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation and peace, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet on these sacred lands. We thank the generations of people who have taken care of the land for thousands of years. We recognize our oneness. We realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. Miigwech. Thank you. Well, my guest today is a remarkable individual. Michael is an animal communication behavior consultant and intuitive life coach. He helps people better understand and communicate with their animals and overcome behavioral challenges through intuitive animal communication. He also coaches people on how to improve their energy, find balance, clear blocks, and achieve their goals. His unique approach combines his extensive background and training with insightful intuition. Please welcome Michael Burke. Hi,
Oh,
I'm so glad you're here. It's so exciting what you do. And can you give me a little bit of background on how you got to this?
yeah, gosh, it goes back to my childhood. As a kid, I was a very sensitive kid. I came from a big Irish Catholic family. I'm the youngest of six, three boys and three girls. And I mention that because, I think like the Catholicism,
Mhm.
there was a lot of belief in a higher power, in saints and angels, and I was named after Saint Michael, Michael the Archangel. And my parents were very, very strict conservative Catholic, but they were very much influencing us to pray and to be aware of things beyond our usual senses. And so there was a teaching of being aware of your intuition, but in this a little bit more of a dogmatic, religious perspective. But my brothers and sisters, who were all older than me, I was the youngest, and the oldest is 20 years older than me. So most of them are like a lot older, and they raised me in a lot of ways. And we'd be sitting around the dinner table talking about, like, my oldest sister was really into metaphysics, and she was into her vibes and astrology and tarot and Reiki. And my brother was really into UFOs and all of that stuff. And that trickled down amongst all of my siblings. And we would talk about our dreams and what we were picking up, and like, our connection to our grandparents on the other side. And there was a lot of this in our environment, and it was very supportive of that. And so I, like, at my earliest age, I was exposed to all of this awareness. And so and then animals, we had a dog, we had a cat, I had a ferret, and there were neighborhood animals, and I just tuned into them. I didn't think that it was anything different. I not only animals, I was tuning into people too. And I was aware of this because my mom would tell me that she could see how I would be sensitive and reading the room, and I would kind of just sit there and be looking at my brothers and sisters and just observing them. And I kind of give my mom this look like, okay, they're all like, what is all of this riffraff? They're nuts. And she would tell me that, like, wow, you're really intuitive. And so there was this, like, kind of celebration and encouragement of that,
Nice.
all within those, like, conservative religious constrictions, if you will.
Right.
So we weren't like a hippie family at all. um, as much as I wish we were. My brothers and sisters were. But anyway, I just was, I would feel myself feeling animals a lot in the neighborhood, my own animals, and I didn't think anybody was any different. It just
Yeah.
was what it was. And as I got older, when I got into high school, I started to pursue the all areas of metaphysics. I was pulling out books from my sister's bookshelves and my brother's, and I started to learn things like astrology and tarot and meditation and manifestation and those things while just having a love and passion for my own animals. And as I got into college, I was starting to do readings for people. Like I do tarot readings and look at people's charts and stuff like that. And it was all just fun on the side, but I started to draw more and more people to me. And there was a time where I was sort of being so sensitive. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, why am I always drawing so many people to me to like, why are people giving me their social security number on the bus? Like, why are people, opening up and pouring their hearts out left and right? And I was a little like, I would never say to anybody, get away. But in my head, I would listen and hold space and
Yeah.
respond and help. And um, I just started drawing more and more people to me, and I started to do intuitive readings.
Yeah.
And from that, people would be like, well, thank you for helping me in my life. Can you help me with my dog? Can you read my dog or my cat? And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm an animal person. And so I started to just do readings for animals, and that just started to escalate. Like more and more people were coming to me, and so it started to really like take off. I worked in corporate America. I worked in advertising sales. So at the time I went to college and I followed that whole path, having to support myself. And but on the side, I was doing this kind of stuff because it just was happening. And I liked helping people and their animals and merging both. And then from that, a lot of times people were coming to me with issues with their pet's behavior, and I would tune into the animal and the person, and I would be like, okay, this is what your dog is thinking and feeling, and I can feel you. You just need a dog trainer. Like this is what you need. And so I something my guides told me, rather than sourcing out or referring people out to a dog trainer or an animal behaviorist, why don't you learn that? And so I was like, oh, so I started to learn animal behavior and training, and I gained tons of certifications, and not just that, but a lot of different modalities.
Yeah.
And I started to create my own skill set and offering where I tune into people's animals and to the people and help them manage their own energy and in turn their animals' energy. But then wherever is need for like behavior and training, I have that knowledge, skills, and awareness to assist there as well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's kind of become this sort of holistic, multi-pronged approach in how I help people, their animals, their energy, and the behavior.
That's awesome. Like I really like that. The idea that uh, you're tuning into both. Because I think what I'm learning with my dog, working with the trainer, is I'm the one who's being trained
Right. Yes.
so that
Very
I
much so.
work with her effectively. Because I think there was a while there when she was jumping up and really being wingy that we would give her something to stop her, like a treat or something, because she was food motivated. But that sort of defeats the purpose. It's like you're doing a bad behavior and I'm giving you a treat to stop you
Right.
for a moment, but then you think bad behavior gets a treat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I share all the time. Be mindful of what you're giving attention and affection to. And
Yeah,
treats are a form of attention and affection.
exactly.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. You're enabling that.
That's right. Well, and I think a lot of times when we get pets, we don't necessarily think about our overall lifestyle when we make the choice of the animal. Do you have some thoughts about how a person who's looking to get a dog or cat, what they might consider before they do that?
Yes, that's really important and usually is not something people are like, "Oh, I want a companion or I want a dog to sleep with me," or this comes up especially a lot with dogs.
Yeah.
there's so many different dogs and species and breeds,
Yeah.
and not every breed is good for everyone. You know, somebody might say, "Oh, I want a German Shepherd,"
Hmm.
and because they're beautiful and they're strong. But a German Shepherd, they can be very sensitive. They're a working breed. They need a lot of mental and physical exercise. And if the person, if this happens a lot, people will come to me and they'll say, "Oh, my dog is reactive, or they are destroying the house," using like the Shepherd as an example. And the first thing I'll ask is, "Well, what's the exercise? Like, how often are you walking?" "Oh, well, we've got a yard. You know,
No.
we have a yard, and I throw the ball, and or we walk sometimes." And I never. There's no judgment. You know, there are
Yeah.
different choices that lead to different outcomes, but I'll encourage people to say, okay, well, if you haven't already adopted a dog or a cat, just be aware of what your lifestyle is. Cats too, like a Persian cat, it can be a really great cat for somebody that wants a cat that's really mellow and they're not home a lot, or
Yeah.
you know, they maybe an older person that just wants to chill at not a Bengal, or you know, not a Savannah, or there are a lot of other cats that can be getting into cabinets and
Yeah.
very active, at least when they're young. So just be aware of what you can handle, because you want to set yourself up for success. You want the animal to be set up for success. And
Exactly.
if you are otherwise, like maybe it's about making lifestyle changes. Maybe it's
Hmm.
time to get out and be walking more, and the German Shepherd is going to be the one that's going to get you out. But
Yeah.
there's a commitment there, and being aware of what you can handle. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
important.
I think that's what's surprising. The first dog we had was a very small dog. We'd walk him usually twice a day, sometimes three times a day. And, that he was just really calm and mild. And if we had bad weather, he didn't want to go out at all. So he'd run out the door, do his pee, and run back in. But the dog we have now, Husky Shepherd Cross, mainly Husky, requires 3 walks a day and a lot of mental stimulation. So uh, we've been working with a trainer since we got her, because I knew I didn't have the ability to do this. But we even bought games that we feed her in, puzzles, so that she has to work out how to get her food. So is there other things we could do for mental stimulation beyond
Those
the...
are You're definitely on the right track. Those are things I would recommend, as well as agility. I often recommend it. Could be like makeshift agility, where you just have a broom or a mop balanced on 2 chairs, and you have your dog on a leash, engage the nose, and get your dog to wait till your dog is in a calm surrender state.
Mhm.
This is another, not to go off on a tangent, but being mindful of really waiting for the dog to be in a full, not kind of like waiting for the cue, like, okay, I'm obeying, but they're not calm. There's
Right.
like excitement and really waiting them out until they're in a fully, like often it'll be like exhale. They may even lay down,
Yeah.
and then you get them to jump over the broom or the mop, reward, reinforce it 3 more times, get them to go under. You can buy agility kits, but like these makeshift, things you have around your house, you can put together a nice little obstacle course. Threshold work at the doorways, which is a similar thing, waiting for your dog to be in a fully calm surrender, not waiting to like get the cue to go out for the walk. Just like you could spend 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes for your dog to finally be like, and lay down. That's
Yeah.
going to wear the dog out. And
Yeah.
then you go out, that you reward the dog by going out. That's going to wear the dog out more than running laps around the block over and over, because of the mental. So, in place work, which I bet your trainer has been sharing that with you. It sounds like your trainer, with the cup puzzles and stuff. Place work is having a cot or a bed or some sort of designated spot where the dog their job is to stay on their place.
Yes.
And you will, similar to teaching stay, but you go into it though with an energy of, this is your job and this is a good thing, and I'm giving you the opportunity to fulfill your needs. Energy is everything,
Yeah.
rather than like, oh, okay, we're going to work now. All right, go to your place. No, yep, you got off your place. The frustration, the
Yeah,
annoyance, the sometimes even anger, or all of that, the emotion dogs and all animals can pick up on. So I always tell people, really be mindful of your intention, focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, and really radiate that energy, because energy is everything, and
it
the
is.
dog will feel that.
Yeah, that's what I teach people in my classes is that mindfulness because it is so important. And I notice even with our dog, if, she starts kind of nipping at us a little bit, it's because she wants something. And I keep explaining that to my husband, but he just gets frustrated and he'll turn away from her to say, okay, you're not going to get any love when you do that. And that's fine. But she's actually asking for something. And
Yes.
she's a puppy, and usually it's I want to go out to pee or
Mhm.
whatever. So I've picked up on that, and I'm reinforcing it with Pierre, but he's still a little bit unsure of what to do with this dog. But we're with the trainer a lot. We just every
Good.
time we finish a package, we start another one, and I think the next one we're going to do. I think there's one more advanced one, and then we'll go into like scent training. Uh,
You
because
took the word. I was going to say scent training is great too. Yeah.
yeah, because I thought that would be a really good thing for her. There's so many things to be aware of when we get a pet. I remember when we looked at getting our first dog, just going online and researching the breed to
Hmm.
get a sense of what is going to be my commitment. And so I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that we have to think about. Now, when it comes to getting a trainer, do you have any thoughts about the best way to research that or how to find somebody who's good or dog walkers, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, certainly, word of mouth, or maybe it could even be, asking around, or if you see somebody in your neighborhood or at the dog park and you're liking their behavior,
Mhm.
ask. Referrals are often a good way of finding a trainer. And I know in the dog training world, there's a lot of different techniques and modalities, and there's a lot of judgment too. Like, dog trainers are always often criticizing and judging other dog trainers' methods and modalities. And there's like positive reinforcement and force free. And there's all as if like, oh, this is, so sometimes there can be this sort of like righteousness about one way or another. And so just using your intuition, checking out reviews sometimes on Yelp or Google reviews. Most importantly, though, it's like word of mouth. And maybe even if you find a trainer, ask them like, hey, do you have any other clients that I could speak with? Or Instagram is a lot of dog trainers are on Instagram now and are doing a lot. They're demoing on Instagram, and so just seeing what they're doing, they're demoing, and then maybe their comments that they have, and how other sometimes people will comment and will be like, "Oh my God, I love my dog is so great." There are a lot of reviews in the comments,
Yeah,
and sometimes they're all often on social media. There can be like the haters too, and so
right.
there can be people in the comments that are really combative. Um, it- but maybe you'll get an idea of how the trainer is responding to the comments with light and love,
Yeah,
and if a trainer is being really combative and negative in the comments, well, that might be insightful too. Like, oh wow, this trainer is like really intense. So that would be the way I would approach it.
mhm.
And there's so many out there too,
There there are. Well, I know the first thing we did when we were waiting for our first appointment in person, because we're doing one-on-one, we actually went online and started watching some videos and just seeing how they were handling different things. And we found one in Ontario here, McCann Dogs, and they were really good and seemed gentle and very positive in their approach. And I go intuitively into everything. That's my guide. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. So it's that I think is one of the things I love about you, is that you're using this intuition and really helping people to realize the power of it, because
Yes.
that will tell you everything you need to know. If it feels wrong, it probably is.
Correct. Yes,
That, yeah,
correct. Yeah. And knowing where to tune into yourself too, and because sometimes there can be, for some people, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't like them, or I don't like that. And sometimes that can be, we get so comfortable, and there's an opportunity to grow and expand beyond our comfort zone. And
that's
so, no, I don't want that. That's bad. I don't like them or whatever. But it's like, or I often say, okay, kind of come out of your head, come out of your heart, and go into your solar plexus
into
and
the
just see
soul.
what's, like what's happening there. And if you're feeling it, like, oh, it feels good there, or you feel tight, or just listen to your body a little bit, tune in and allow yourself to tune in and breathe on it. Our bodies will share a lot of truth in those moments, and at least just like, and maybe it's like, no, I don't like them, like I really I don't, or that doesn't feel correct for me. Okay,
Yeah.
well, good, then maybe that is the highest road to
Mhm.
take. But I know how I'm a Taurus, and so I can be very set in my ways, comfort, no, nothing, everything predictable. And when something new comes, it's easy for me to like have a knee jerk response, like, No, I'm good." And I've learned to like, no, but maybe this is, listen to that guidance that brought me to the situation, that's
Yeah.
giving me the opportunity to learn. And then I do it. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I did that, or met them, or
Yeah.
jumped in, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I know for me, it is in the solar plexus where I feel things. And sometimes mentally I'll go, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. But in here, I get this feeling that yes, this is the right thing for me to do. And I think tapping into that is so important. My youngest child, I trained her from the time she was born. um, none of this stranger danger stuff, because sometimes you need somebody you don't know. But I said, tune into your intuition. How does your body feel? What is your body telling you? Um, and allow that to be your guiding force for everything you do. And I taught her that from, basically age 2 when she was running around, right on up, because I think sometimes we get rigid in what we do. I'm a Sagittarius, so I don't have any ridges. I just go, oh, yes. Oh, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. you know, so I get caught up that way a little bit, but I think there's really some power in that intuitive learning how to do it. Now, do you teach people how to tune into their intuition?
I do. Yes, I
Ah,
do teach people how. Yeah, and I teach intuitive animal communication, but the first step, laying the foundation in connecting in with animals intuitively, energetically, and telepathically, is tuning into yourself first,
oh,
being aware of what is your energy, what is not your energy, reading the environment, connecting into your inner guidance, your higher guidance, your guides, just really strengthening those abilities, those muscles, so then you can step forward and accurately communicate and connect with animals in that way that's very grounded and objective. So you're not confused by what's yours, what's not yours, what's in the environment. But yeah, so I start with the person first.
okay, that's wonderful. And so when you were doing all your training, because you've done a lot of stuff, which is quite amazing. I teach metaphysics, so it was great to hear you talk about that. And every time I talk to you, it's like, yeah, yeah, we speak the same language. What's interesting is, tapping into the animals. Like once I've kind of got my intuition worked out, what is kind of the next thing I need to do in order to really connect with my pets in a way that I know what really is needed when there's a problem, or even when there's not, you're having a lazy day. Let's just connect. What would be, yeah, okay, I got to stop talking here.
Yeah. No, it's right. Well, and that's, I mean, it's funny you say, okay, I have to stop talking here. Often that's what it is with our animals, like just quieting, just being mindfulness,
Mindful.
living in the moment, being present in the moment. Meditation is a big part of what I do. That's another aspect of my work, is being a meditation teacher. Just, but sometimes people are like, "Oh, I can't meditate," and I know I didn't, blah blah blah. I'm respectful of that too. Everybody's different, and one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
But any way you can find, a person can find the opportunity to just surrender to the moment, be present in the moment, just focusing on your breath. It could even be just, laying. I'm looking at my dog sleeping over here. That's why I'm like looking at him, laying with him, just being with him, mindfulness, just noticing the petting his fur. What does his fur feel like? The rhythm of his breathing, the rhythm of my breathing. We're breathing together. Just really bringing yourself into the present moment and all of the subtleties that can be noticed and appreciated, simply just being together, and doing so and starting to practice that regularly, like every day, just calming down, quieting the mind. Because when we turn down the mind, even just focusing on one thing, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like clearing your head of everything, no thoughts at all. Using your animal as like the focal point, at least just focusing, okay, I'm just following his breathing, I'm petting him, his beautiful eyes, his soft tongue, and I'm looking into his eyes. It's focusing on the one thing. So it's quieting the monkey mind, and it
Yeah.
opens us up to notice the subtleties in the communication, connection, relationship. And then holding the intention, okay, I'm in the process of deepening my communication and connection with my pet, my animal, at a deeper, more intuitive level. Just setting that intention and imagining, using your creative imagination. Like, what wouldn't it be amazing to feel divine downloads coming from my dog, or to sense what they need? Maybe I see a picture in my head. Maybe I hear them. Maybe they communicate to me in dreams. Just allowing the wonder and the, almost like the daydream, the creative imagination. Just allow yourself, what would that be like? How would I love that to be? As a way of like just kind of putting it out there,
Yeah.
and then being consistent, every day, just showing up with the intention of opening up, being very much in the process. And then you start to lay the foundation, you're strengthening the muscle.
Yeah.
It gets easier when you're quieting your mind. It could be a formal sitting in for 20 minutes meditating too.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, then you I'll use myself for example. Like, then I could be like out walking my dogs, and a loose dog comes charging at us, and I will be able to respond in the moment with ease, calm, confidence, and communication with my dog. I can respond to the dog coming in. I can get my dogs to get behind me, follow my lead. All of it just locks into perfect communication with everybody,
Yeah.
like a blink of an eye, like without even thinking of it, because I have practiced this,
That's
regularly through meditation in whatever form that is. It could be movement. Sometimes it's walking. Maybe it's, walking dogs is a great way. Maybe it's a walking meditation where you're taking in the environment, you're focusing on your breath, feeling the earth below you. That could be, because that's for more active people, that's still a form of mindfulness, essentially.
I love that. I love that. Well, we're going to take a little commercial break on that point, and we'll be back in just a minute. You're watching The Joy Show here on the New Thought Media Network. Please don't go away, because there is a lot more to come, and we'll be back with Michael Burke in just a minute or two.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Spiritual Center, Kitchener, Holmes Center for Spiritual Living, La Mesa, Satya Center, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for making New Thought Media Network a place to be. Please come be you. And remember, like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome back. So the Joy Show continues with Michael Burke, and I just want to talk a little bit about your book. I'm looking at the chapters that you've got here, and I've only read a little bit of it so far, but so there's power in the present moment, setting intentions and cultivating awareness, mind, heart, spirit, intuition, connection, becoming a stronger receiver. So that's sort of what you were just talking about, is working with ourselves to kind of get in tune with all of this. What kind of are you covering there? Like, can you expand on this a little bit, or?
Yeah. So finding again, the book starts out with tuning into yourself and finding what works for you. What works for you. What is the meditation practice going to be that you're going to love and connect with and be willing to show up to each day and to just make second nature? And I give some suggestions of ways to do that, and I share some examples in my own life and how that helped me, as well as people I work with and their animals. And then I share exercises like how to become a stronger receiver, like how to tune in and read the room or read the environment, creating a database within your mind. For me, it's like I have this like database in my mind's eye. So when I'm tuning in to the moment, the environment, people, animals, I'm receiving the energy, I'm setting an intention to tune in, and then it's almost like it goes through this database of mine, and I'll feel like a symbol will pop up, or like a something. It could be a feeling. It could be I hear something in my head. I use this in the book, and I mention this a lot because it's an easy example. Like tuning in, and maybe I'm seeing an apple. Maybe I'm connecting in with a dog, and they're showing me an apple, and so the apple could mean they love apples, or it could be back in the day. It used to be children would give apples to teachers to say thank you teacher, thank you for everything you taught me. So there could be an energy that I'm getting from the dog that's grateful for everything they've learned from their human. But my database is interpreting that energy. It's coming through as an apple because it's like my intuitive inner being knows that that's the quickest way for me to come up with that communication. Or, I mean, the apple could be a door stopper that the dog is always tripping over, or a toy, or, it could be a lot of different things. But learning how to create, like, tune in, feel your environment with all of your senses, with your eyes closed, feeling what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's above you, what's below you, and really allowing yourself to imagine what's coming to you, and then writing it down. Journaling is a big part of what I teach in my book. I give some journal. Every chapter has journal prompts based on what I've shared in each chapter, but encouraging you to write things down, to connect in with yourself first, as well as the animals and your environment, and write down what's coming to you. And it's also a form of like creation, kind of channeling, bringing through energy and then reflecting upon it. But creating a consistent practice and committing to showing up for yourself through a journey of wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with animals, both living and in spirit. And then, and there are a lot of different in the book. I have various different exercises, like specific meditation processes for doing so. So I give a lot of examples, like through your third eye, through your heart. There's one called the Sacred Round Table, where I imagine in it for myself, I'm imagining I'm sitting at a beautiful sacred table with all of the animals that I would like to communicate and connect with. Maybe they're all on the other side, maybe they're living, maybe it's a little of both, and just having a little meeting, so to speak, and tuning in and recognizing the different energetic frequencies amongst them all, and then writing it down. So, and then like the third part of the book goes into, okay, once you've strengthened the muscles and you've practiced some of these techniques and figured out what you like and maybe what maybe doesn't resonate, starting to take it out into the world. And I say the subheading of the title is co-create a meaningful life and deep connection with animals. And this is all about manifestation practices. Manifesting with your pets, and that can go into training, as we were talking about, like really being mindful of what you are visualizing and feeling and projecting for them. And if you're focusing on your dog not sitting while you're asking them to sit over and over, the dog is like, okay, well, you're telling me to sit, but I'm seeing and feeling in you me not sitting. So visualization, visualizing, feeling, what would it feel like to have your dog sitting and listening rather than not, and radiating that energy into the environment. And so I share a lot of practices in creating together, and however you'd like to creating a life together, whatever that is for you.
That's very cool, because that is a more holistic way. I think it's really helpful, not only for our pets, but for our people. So
yeah,
we're tuning into our children better. We're tuning into our work associates better. If we can get into that place. And as you talked about meditation, I'm glad you mentioned the moving meditation, because I've met some people who go, I can't sit still. Well, you don't have to. Meditation isn't one thing. It could be many. I'm teaching a meditation class tomorrow morning, and just to introduce the different ways, and it's finding your way, what way works best for you. And then sometimes it'll work well for a while, and then you need to change it up. And that's okay too. So it's, it's a little bit of practice to get to the point where you can actually begin to hear your animal, what they need or what they're asking for. So I love that you can train people to do that. Now, you also do sessions with people. I don't know if you do in person. I know you do online. And tell me a little bit about the sessions that you offer for somebody who might have a challenge with their pet.
Yeah. So years ago, so now pretty much my business, especially after the pandemic and everybody going online with video, I'm able to work with more people and their animals all over the world
Yeah.
through Zoom and all, video online. But so I'm not really doing as much in person. Here and there I have and will, but for the most part it is all online. Also the phone. Years ago I was doing sessions just over the phone, and people will be sometimes are like, how is that possible? But energy is everywhere. There's no bounds, there's no limits. You think about when you are thinking or feeling a friend of yours, and then they call or they text and you're like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you.
Up and go.
There's the connection there. And or I'll use the example of like telephones and the Wi-Fi. We're able to connect right now. How is that possible? How am I able to see you? Because
Yeah.
energy is limitless. And so there's a way of me, just what I'll do is, like on the phone sessions, I'd have people email me a photo and I get on the phone with them, and it could be multiple photos or one, doesn't matter, but I just set an intention to tune into the photo. And I have my practices of just, and which has become over the years quick. I could just right away quickly tune in, and then I just feel into the animal and allow whatever comes to me. I'll go silent for a few moments, and then I will have a connection and I'll start speaking. Now, I'll often ask people, is there a reason you're coming to the session? Is there something you want to focus on? Because sometimes if they're just like, oh, I just want to know what my animal has to say, well, it's possible, but having sort of they're animals. So I often want to I'll confirm that with people, like, they're not humans. So on some levels, they do communicate like we do, but in many ways they don't. And so we can zero in and focus on what's coming through. And like I said, I might be seeing a symbol in my head or a feeling or a scenario, and I'll just start sharing what comes through. And it can be like a game of charades at first, where I'm like, why am I seeing an apple? And the person's maybe like, I have no idea. We don't feed apples. And then they might be like, oh my God, my daughter calls grandmother apple or something, like sometimes like, oh my God, I know what that is. And then it's like, okay, now it starts really piecing together. And so, and video, they don't have to, the animal can be on video, but they don't have to be either. I usually will say, send me a photo or photos ahead, so then I can just tune in. And the animal could be anywhere in the world. They don't have to be with the person.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people will say like, oh my gosh, my here's my cat. They're sitting on my lap now, or they just calmed down, or
Yeah.
they like they're listening or they're looking at the screen. And I'm like, yeah, that happens.
It does.
So
I
it can
noticed.
be in any area too. Behavior, it could be sometimes how I never like to diagnose. People will be like, oh, can you tell me what my dog wants me to give them as far as medicine or whatever? And I say, talk to your vet.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, I can tune in and share what I'm feeling from them, but and it can be health related, like, oh well, there is like something kind of lighting up in their body here or there or whatever, or
Yeah.
they are I'm feeling a response to something you're giving them. But it can be in that area too. I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, that's quite all right, because that's great information. Because I think sometimes people are going, should I do this medication? Should I do that? And that's really not your field. So good for you to pass them on to somebody else. I think one of the things that uh, I've thought about is how the animal, will have a certain behavior that, and I mentioned earlier, our dog doesn't really like going to the vet. Now, that's not unique. There's lots of animals who don't like going to the vet, but she's fine going to the vet until it's time for the exam. And then
Hmm.
she gets aggressive, actually. And given that she's a big dog, that is a concern. Um, so I'm wondering what could be the trigger of that, if it's fear, or like she's never had really bad experiences, like she was she's been well treated since she was born. So there's nothing, she hasn't had somebody attack her or whatever. And she loves people, but there's something there. I don't know if you can feel anything around that, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are about that aggressive behavior.
Yeah. So there was something that imprinted her in the examination room. I know you met before we got on the call, you were talking about there was the one vet that was a little
scared of her.
Yeah. And so your dog, it was picking up at a young age, picking up on that energy. It was coming in like on insecurity. A lot of times for me in this situation like this, I will feel the dog with, this is my database articulating it, with the dog with question marks above their head and air bubbles. And here's the doctor coming in saying one thing like, oh, sweet doe, you're, good girl, whatever. Coming forward as one thing, or as a doctor, I'm the doctor, confident doctor, I know all, but their energy, question marks and air bubbles above the doctor's head. Yeah. And so your dog is like, all right, I got questions, you got questions. I'm not getting the answers, the assurance that I need in this moment where I don't know what's going on. And I'm smelling a lot in here. I'm smelling fear from other dogs. I'm smelling blood. I'm smelling urine. I'm smelling a lot of, and it's a little stifling in here, and there's metal, and it sort of becomes a perfect storm. But that person is coming in, and there's just this sensitivity, like knee-jerk response, feeling like the walls are caving in. And it was just a quick thing. But when a dog is that young, they're very impressionable. And that's young too. Before I didn't say anything, but that is very young to have a reactivity and clearly responding to the energy in the moment. And that doctor, and now you have an imprint, and now there is a story, and now everybody's like, she's aggressive, she needs to be muzzled, she doesn't like the vet, she's great with and it becomes the story, and that the dog is holding on to, and it's nobody's fault or anything, but it can sort of be challenged. It's almost like the dog can't win in a sense. They can, but it's sort of like, oh, okay, right. And so then the next time the dog goes into the vet, oh, right, I'm smelling this and the floor and the metal and feeling my human owner's energies. Are you going to bite again? Do we need to muzzle you? Oh, right. All of these imprints. And here we are again. And it starts to like build that response. So this is actually a really the ideal time to sort of let go of the story, even though it's happened, it is what it is, but every moment's a new moment to create a new imprint and to erase that imprint and create a new one, and to show her how to make a better choice and response in that situation, which can be a process. And I mean, I would even, not that you're asking, but my recommendation would be one, like maybe it's a different doctor that has a different energy, but going in, maybe it's even having your trainer go in with you, if that would help, going into the moment. And just sometimes dogs will go through fight mode, flight mode, avoid, and then surrender. And so sometimes when you're like rehabilitating a dog to get over something, sometimes you have to sort of like allow them to go through fight. They want to like fight. No, you're just calm confidence. Flight, they want to get out of there. You're just calm, holding space. I want to go in the car, avoid. No, everybody's breathing. We're waiting you out. We're waiting you out to get to surrender. Okay, I surrender. Because usually it's like, oh, reaction, aggression, bite. Let's get out of here. And the doctor's on a schedule. We're backed up. We got a lot of people. We got to get out of here. And then it's like, we got to get out. And you want to remove the dog from that situation to not traumatize them. But if you can end everything on a calm note for everybody, bring everybody to calm surrender, not like waiting it out, still tense, but quiet, everybody calm surrender, then you're ending it on a calm note, and you start to erase that imprint. So the next time you bring her in, she's like, oh, okay. Well, the last time I was here, I was calm, essentially. Now it can be a process of rehabbing that,
Of
but
course.
just committing to it. So that was a long answer
Oh, I
to,
love it. Yeah, no, that's perfect because what I noticed in the room is the doctor, the new doctor, somebody who had actually worked with our other dog. And so we specifically asked for her because she's really good. Um, and she was great, but Pierre was very anxious.
uh-huh.
And so, I think, obviously Aurora was feeling his fear and his expectation that there was going to be a repeat. And I know even before we went, I went, oh my gosh, is it going to happen again? But while we were in there, I had her leash the whole time and just sitting very calmly and smiling and, chatting with her. And the doctor was very gentle, and the technician that came in was very, very gentle with her, which helped. But they did muzzle her, which, was okay because she did kind of bite Pierre. But I think that idea of just, in fact, we may just go in and have an appointment and don't do anything. Just get to that place
Yes.
of calm surrender with everybody around and then leave. And so we're
Yes.
leaving on that positive note because she does get into that calm surrender at home. We'll put her, okay, go to your bed. We have a little mat in the living room, and that's where she has to go. And she relaxes there, and she's fine. So I think I really love that advice. So that's wonderful.
And she's so good. You told me offline that
Yeah,
she's so great with people. And so
people, yeah.
so that shows that if she's so great with people, she can be that. She has it within her, within that environment. And Pierre is a big part of it too.
Oh,
It's,
sure, yeah. Because he wants the best for her and he's trying to do everything perfectly, and nobody does things perfectly. I mean, we do our best. That's the best we can.
yeah,
So, I'll do some work with him and we'll read the book together. I think that will help as well to get him to, just come back to get him to come back to calm surrender because he loves her a
yeah.
lot and he wants her to be perfect and he wants everybody to like her, and she's a dog and she's going to bark sometimes and she's going to jump up sometimes, and it's like when my daughter puts her leash and halter on, she just does it for her. I mean, she resists a little bit, but Genevieve just sits with her and she comes and sits and she gives her a little treat, lets her sit, and she'll do shake a paw and then she'll put her collar and stuff on. And Pierre will have to wrestle her for the same process. So it's, yeah, we'll work on the husband first.
Yeah, like him really feeling the energy of being a calm, confident leader, being radiating that clear intention, calm confidence. And whenever we're human, things come up, but
Oh, for
as the
sure.
fear comes up or the, worry, just like, all right, I'm going to pivot to like, just like let it go and pivot to the opposite. Like,
Yeah,
calm confidence, all is well. I'll sometimes say it's almost like being like a redwood tree, like
yeah,
big, ancient, beautiful, large, strong redwood tree that's grounded and unwavered. And no matter what happens, and she might be like, whoa, wait, you're just, and for the person to just embody that or whatever that visual will be for him, just
yeah.
to practice that. And it can shift, and it shows that Aurora, with your daughter and with you, she's different. So that shows that she can do it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, this has been lovely, and I'm really hoping that the people who watch this will get a real sense of how they can work with their pets. Now, if somebody wants to hire you, they go to your website, which is michaelburke.com.
Michael R, because my name is very Michael R. Burke. My
Good.
name is like Matt Smith. It's very common. No disrespect to any Matt Smiths out there, but
Yeah, but I get it to make sure that people go to the right place.
yeah,
michaelrburke.com, and they can
yes,
go there and get more information. They can book a time with you to work through some of this stuff. They can go out and buy your book. I have it right here. It's really, really great. I've only read the first 2 chapters, I think, but I'm going to read some more and get my husband to read it as well. So we're down to our last 5 minutes. Time goes by quickly on these shows. And what I'd like to leave people with is sort of one really good nugget that you could give? Like, what do you think the best thing people could get from this interview before we sign off? What was one thing they could do?
I would say that each one of us, when it comes to our animals, has the power and ability to be the highest form of energy that is in service to ourselves and in turn to our animals, offering support, presence, guidance, leadership, love, and connection. When we are mindful and aware of our own energy and recognize our power in manifesting the best within ourselves through choice and intention and visualization and awareness, being mindful of our energy and taking the reins of our energy and creating what we would like to feel for ourselves. We're doing that for our animals. And in doing that, it strengthens our communication and connection with our animals. And animals respond so much to our energy. And so it doesn't have to be just like, how am I sending intuitive messages to my animal? And how do I can't do that. No, it's just radiating an energy of how you would like to feel with clear intention, how you would like them to feel. And recognizing this sacred partnership that we have as energetic beings with each other. And most importantly, really living in the moment, letting go of the stories, the future, just really being present and showing up in the moment, because our animals look to us in the moment like, I'm here, what are we doing? This is the moment. And that's where the magic is with them.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. We have a cat that she's 1 year old and she plays fetch. And she plays fetch with a little hair, those little fabric kind of hair tie things. So we'll flip it and she'll run after it and get it and bring it back. And I've never seen a cat play fetch before. Our dog doesn't do it yet. Well, she does it a little bit, but not as much. But it's fun to watch the cat do it because I've had cats my whole life. I've never seen a cat do this. And she's pretty good. Like, you'll throw it, she'll grab it in the air. Like she's
oh, wow.
Just loves these little hair ties. They're the best thing in the world. But I just want to say thank you so much for being here. This has been a fun conversation. And I'm really hoping that people start to really get that it's their energy that's beginning to impact the animal as well, and getting to calm surrender is that's one of the first things our trainer taught us, is we have to get her to calm surrender. And so when he comes to the door, she has to be in calm surrender and stay that way when he comes in. She loves him. So when he comes in, so she's not jumping all over him, and he won't go near her until she's in that calm surrender. So it's
I love your trainer.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. We just love him. So I'm just really grateful for this. I'm so grateful you were on the show, and I know people are going to learn a lot from you. Thank you, Michael. You're a gift to all of us, and we'll be talking again soon because I'd like to book you as well.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Oh,
great. And for everybody watching, please like, share, subscribe, and you can even donate to the New Thought Media Network. And be sure to check out michaelrburke.com. Have a wonderful week. Thank you, Michael. Bye, everybody. See you next.
Bye. Thank you.